Hello, everybody. I am the Spearman, the embracer of human good and analyst of fiction. You know, all that good stuff. And with me is the Snark Spy once again.
Pleased, pleased to see you.
And as you probably can tell, he's lost his trademark hippie hair since the last time you saw it.
Eh,
Kind of a bit of a shock to me personally, but he probably doesn't mind that we're losing 25% profit off of it.
yeah, well, bring it back in more respectable gains.
Uh-huh. Anyway, but today's obviously, as you can probably tell by the title and so forth, is all about him and his anime stuff. So, Snark Spy, what is this all about? What is this try to recall thing all about?
Well, this is a video idea that I got from the e-channel SugarPunch Studios.
Ah, yeah.
Shout out to them. Link in the description. And they are in which I, solely through memory, attempt to remember the plots of anything that I'm trying to that I love and I haven't seen in a while. Today I will be attempting to recall the plots of the very first season of Seshi Zensho Symphogear.
Which is a great show, and I have seen the first couple seasons back in the day.
Yep. So, without further ado,
Okay?
so the very first season actually starts off on a fairly downer note, with a girl attending the funeral of her best friend. And the very first thing we see after this is a thing that says 2 years later, and he meets that friend in a character known as Tachibana Hibiki, who is at a concert to an idol group known as Y-Wing. The two Miku couldn't make it, and based on what's about to come next, she probably wouldn't want to have come anyways. We then meet the eponymous Y-Wing, Kanade Amo and Kazunari Tsubasa. Kanade is the spunky redhead, Tsubasa is the more subdued, shy girl of the group. We then get into a fairly nice looking in concert scene where Kanade and Tsubasa sing a song that will come back a bit later. Her to try and power up an item known as a relic, that they refer that I believe at this point they refer to as Nahustan armor. But that might be a later plot point. Well, things go poorly extremely quickly as the consort is quickly attacked by an enigmatic, monstrous group of beings known as the Noise.
Turn that damn noise off!
Amorphous beings that, when they touch you, turn you to carbon and kill you. A process that we see several times in horrific detail. Not wanting to let their fans all die at the concert that they put up, Kane and Tsubasa transform, and the transformation sequence is not exactly the best. It's mostly just them jumping up in the air, posing, and armor flying onto their bodies. He's nothing too special, but it's a thing. We then find out the main hook of this particular series, that it's a magical girl series where the girls all sing while fighting. And Kanade,
That's definitely something we should see in the cinema more often.
as with it seeing how how Kanade his music is actually a typical J-pop, a ballad. It ends. We even see some fun little techniques where when a girl uses an attack, like they have a freeze frame, the name of the attack like on screen, and just kind of a fun little freeze frame for potential people to have as a wallpaper. Things, however, take a turn for the worse as Hibiki, now the only one of the actual audience to actually survive, up to this point, it's hit by a stray piece of shrapnel that came from Kanade's spear. Here, this very fatal injury, he causes Kanade to freak out, go over to Hibiki and say, "Do not die. I swear, try and stay conscious, you will not die." Which, Hibiki's not dead. Worryingly enough, of the photo of her around her grave, it make things a bit tenuous, but still, it's at this point that Kanade, desperate to protect Hibiki and stop the noise, does what the Funimation in subs originally referred to as the Swan Song, but is later referred to as the Superior Song, which causes a gigantic shockwave and kills all the noise, and Kanade herself. Yeah, this was actually something of a pretty big twist, as Kanade was one of the big marketing pushes is for the actual things. I know that she had a famous voice actress, but I don't know which one she was.
Okay.
Yeah, we then jump to 2 years later, but at about 2 months before, or the girl Miku who attends Hibiki's funeral, where Hibiki and Miku are currently in a prestigious academy, known for producing famous singers and musicians.
I totally forgot that.
Yeah, because Tsubasa actually goes to the school as well, and yeah, that's one of the main drives. Heck, Hibiki, they actually kind of admit that Hibiki actually, he does in fact go there because Tsubasa also goes there.
Right.
And we are reintroduced to Hibiki 2 years later. I believe she was sleeping in class because that's a pretty typical anime thing to do. We then see the dynamic of Hibiki and Miku is surprisingly romantic. As they sleep in the same bed and have cute pet names for each other.
What? I don't remember that. Fuck.
Yeah.
They're really pushing it there, aren't they?
Yeah.
And here, I thought they were just best friends.
Yeah. So, we get a bit of a reintroduction into Hibiki's scatterbrainedness. She's doing poorly in class, so she has to write a report.
Is that also a typical trope with magical girl stuff, or just girls in anime in general? They're failing in class, and they gotta make up for it.
Depends on the character. If they want to characterize a character as smart, then they tend to skip this, but Hibiki is the typical shonen an idiot protagonist, so...
Well then.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So, yeah. Eventually, Hibiki realizes, oh hey, today is a brand new song where Tsubasa, a brand new CD that has Tsubasa singing in visuals. So she goes out to a store to find to get it. on her way to the store, she finds that apparently Thanos came a few years early and made a bunch of people turn into dust. Because that's exactly what it's just like. It's just like she walks to the store, walks by a black dust that's floating in the wind, and looks around, thinks, "Oh crap, the noise are here." It's just like Hibiki then sees a little girl, who's been separated from her mother and decides, you know what, I should probably save her. She then picks up the little girl and runs away to try and avoid the hundreds of noise that are coming after her. They then go to a high tower where they are then cornered by the noise. However, Hibiki, in the heat of the moment, sings a transformation phrase that's actually fairly similar to the one sung by Kanade a while back ago. And it appears that at a fragment of Kanade's spear, the legendary spear Gungnir, has allowed Hibiki to transform into a magical girl herself, a Symphogear. We then see Hibiki with a very malicious and bestial look on her face. He's making her look like she's gone completely berserk. And that's where the first episode ends.
Wow, we're only done with the first episode?
Yeah.
Feels like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, which honestly, I actually think that I missed the scene where we see Tsubasa 2 years later, where she's just like gone all lone wolf and fights a giant noise. I think that's either this episode or the first episode or the second episode. Regardless, it's continuing onward. We find out that Hibiki has not gone insane and instead uses her brand new magical girl powers to fight off the noise and save the little girl. We're then given the odd inclusion of details that a girl must, after their son, that the girl must sign a non-disclosure agreement where she can't say that she was saved by Hibiki. Because at this point, apparently the Japanese government is just thinking, you know what, the other countries are probably going to dislike that we have a potential super weapon in our side. So let's just us make sure that this doesn't get out. We then are reintroduced to who the people of the secret organization that currently does not have a cool acronym name. And we are basically reintroduced to both Tsubasa's former manager, Genjiro Kazunari, her uncle, essentially, and a girl to Ryoko Mikado. Mikado, I think that was her name's Ryoko. And she's going to be important. As they bring Hibiki into their underground base that is conveniently right beneath their actual school. You forgot that?
Yes, I did. It's been a long time since I've seen this show, okay?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. And Tsubasa, completely at this point, initially is just kind of cold towards Hibiki, just kind of thinking, okay, just another Symphogear user. And then she finds out that Hibiki has Gungnir, which really does not help her survivor's guilt of watching Kanade die in her arms. Hibiki is then given a chance to talk to Tsubasa, where she says, "Don't worry about anything. I promise I'll replace Kanade." Yeah, this is probably the worst thing that Hibiki can say, but that only comes up later. I believe at this point are introduced to 3 of Hibiki's friends. And besides Miku.
And isn't one of them the one who's obsessed with animes?
The one that says, "This isn't an anime."
This isn't an anime. This isn't like an anime. This isn't where this happens in an anime. Or
Yeah.
being all meta about it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. And you then in fact find out that noise are very much well known, and Symphogears are not priorities of the Japanese government and people. Well, no, what we see later, this is probably the smartest idea that they've done. And we get a bit more ship teasing with Miku, with them actually promising to go see the shooting stars, or at a later day. Hey, Hibiki, desperate to help Tsubasa with its saving lives, goes off and tries and defeats its noise when more noise shows up. And this is the first time that we actually, however, in a plot twist that everyone saw coming, Hibiki has to miss is the date with Miku. This gets Hibiki mad, and we see that she does in fact go berserk. It's just she didn't go berserk before.
I was so looking forward to my date. I mean, my get together.
They call it a date in universe.
So they're not just best friends?
I mean, at this point they're just kind of doing the whole platonic best friends and that are super close and it's super close thing, but it's throughout the whole season, it's fairly obvious that they're supposed to be at least hinted to be a couple.
Okay then.
So yeah. Eventually, Hibiki he meets with Tsubasa on a bridge, and Tsubasa, still mad at Hibiki out of a misplaced anger towards herself, decides, you know what? Let's fight. I'm gonna beat you senseless. Yes. This is overheard by the people of the secret organization, and the director Genjiro thinks, you know what? This is probably a bad idea for them to do this. I'm gonna step in and stop them. Tsubasa rails up for a gigantic attack, where she creates a giant sword and punches it towards Hibiki. And then we see that Genjiro is a freaking superhuman, as he then takes the near skyscraper-sized sword and punches it out of the air. Mind you, this is one of the tamer or uses of what Genjiro's fighting style is worth. But we will only see more as the series progresses. Is this after giving them a cool-down hug, Hibiki then goes home to discover that Miku is not pleased. He very much just says like, I'll make it up with you. We'll have dinner tomorrow. Oh, and I'll make up with you. And I'll make up for this. The very next night, Hibiki and Tsubasa are on a patrol defeating Monoi's when they are attacked by a girl wearing the Nehusten armor from episode 1. And this is actually... And this causes them to be exceptionally elate in the fact that at Tsubasa, that Hibiki gets it's gunked up by a bunch of white goo. Ooh, and Tsubasa, something of a Death Seeker, activates her swan song. on pushing the mysterious girl back, but putting her in critical condition. After this is wrapped up, Hibiki comes home, finds out that she has missed dinner, and Miku, who has decided to put her in the doghouse. She takes the stuff that was in the lower bunk that was previously covered up, deciding that they in fact chose to sleep in the same bed. And Hibiki is figuratively sleeping on the couch. Couch for the night. Hibiki's then course of action on seeing Tsubasa's hurt is, you know what? I think I'm gonna actually get good. She then remembers that Gendro punched a sword out of the air, and then goes to see Gendro to see if he can teach her how to fight. He then proceeds to teach her how to fight, right, in a very much montage where it's revealed that he learned all of his fighting moves from watching movies and playing video games. Of the fighting style that we see Hibiki learning is karate, Jeet Kune Do, from Bruce Lee movies, and the Street Fighter exclusive fighting style Ansatsuken, which honestly implies that Hibiki at any point in time could bust out a Hadouken and it would be completely canon. Yeah. The next big plot point is Hibiki, along with Dr. Ryoko, who must transport a magical relic, the Sword Durandal, to a Japanese safe house with a politician, and so that they can ensure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. And things immediately go wrong when Noise decide to attack them. And during this, it's Ryoko who demonstrates the ability to create a barrier out of nowhere, which is a weird thing, but he accepts it because Genjiro can punch a sword out of the air. And we are then given in reason to believe that something's off about Ryoko when he has the sword and it's covered in blood from the previous guy who was holding it. We're at this point also introduced to the villain of this series. He's Fine, as she is torturing the girl in the Nehusten armor who she calls Chris. Is very much the kinky, freaky type of villain. In that, and we really do not see much of in a lot of series.
And she possesses the most terrifying weapon of all, her English.
Yeah, English is later. So, yeah. The next bit of hilariousness is come from the fact that in a startling coincidence, when Hibiki is trying to see Tsubasa, who has had solo arc or character development where she's just trying to get over Kanade's death, in her mind in the stupor, then actually Hibiki is currently in the hospital with Tsubasa, and is totally seeing Miku, and Miku sees the entire thing without getting any of the context, which causes Miku to think, wait, is that why Hibiki he didn't come to the thing? Oh my god, she's cheating on me. Oh, other fun fact, she's also renting a book called How to Be Honest with Yourself, which I can only assume is a thing about being honest with your feelings, because Miku at this point might not actually Miku might not actually be dating at this point, but still. No, the actual plot does in fact progress when Hibiki goes into another fight with Chris, and Chris reveals she is also a Symphogear user. And she has guns. Hibiki he still kicks her butt, and Miku, who then sees Hibiki and Chris fighting at the same time, revealing that Hibiki is in fact a Symphogear. Here, this is a gigantic twist to Miku, and now that I'm about to think of it, I think that now is the time that Miku who puts Hibiki in the doghouse. That was because the next time we actually catch up with Miku, who Chris has been cut off by Fine, and she finds Chris is beaten and bleeding on the floor, or completely unconscious. It's from a scuffle with her exceptionally creepy boss. Us. Tsubasa recovers, and then a gigantic octopus noise attacks Miku. Hibiki then must save Miku, and upon saving Miku from this, it's the two of them decide, you know what, it's kind of make up. I'll introduce you to the secret organization that I now work to. Miku? Miku becomes the secret bearer, and the plot progresses as normal until with Hibiki and Miku even going onto a group excursion with Tsubasa, where we find out that Tsubasa is very, very enthusiastic about karaoke. More specifically, enka music, which, honestly, considering that she's voiced by Nana Mizuki, who is famous for enka music in her youth, checks out. Eventually, we then see the scene where Fine is English talking to what are essentially American operatives, and we discover that America in this series is not a good guy.
Those stupid Americans, they never do anything right.
They really don't under this series. Yeah, American soldiers attempt to...
That's right, this show, I just remembered, this show is kind of anti-American.
Yeah.
The way Americans are portrayed. But the Obama cameo is worth it. Whoa!
I mean, there wasn't there.
Just keep going with the first season.
Yeah, but yeah, Tsubasa. Yeah, as the next big plot point actually comes from the Americans as they attempt to kill Fine by shooting with her with a bunch of guns.
And we see that Fine is actually...
Ryoko Mikado.
Did you mention her earlier?
Yes,
Okay.
I brought her up.
And we have the most terrifying English exchange as Fine seems to meet her end at the hands of those stupid Americans who are clearly voiced by Japanese actors.
At which point, the next thing that we see of the Americans is them skewered by a bunch of rose whips, as it appears that Fine, upon realizing that he has completely bonded with her relic, decides, you know what, I could totally do that. And then we come into the climax, where we find out with a thing that Fine is after, a thing known as the Tower, the Kadinger, which is another way of talking about the Tower of Babel, I think. And it has something to do with the moon. Fine. His attack on the secret headquarters in the school is then punctuated with the betrayal of Fine, where upon distracting the Symphogears, including Chris, who switches sides at this point, went to then attack the school, where it's revealed that the secret base of the good guys was in fact the Kandinger all along, and that it extends upwards into a gigantic laser that Fine then says is planning to destroy the moon. Because the moon is not actually a moon, but an artificial mechanical thing that makes it so that humans forget the original language that they had and get into conflicts with each other. Naturally wanting our tides and oceans to not go haywire from the lack of a moon, our heroines are still planning on going into are still planning on stopping her. They go into the thing, and Fine launches a laser, and Chris is wanting to redeem herself. Elva flies up into space, sings her swan song, and launches a laser that blocks Kadinger. This loss of life then causes Hibiki to go berserk, and forces Tsubasa to have to pull off a ninja move and stick her into place. He's using a technique known as shadow stitching. Before this point, Fine actually injures Gendro, who actually would have won if not for Fine pulling a guilt trip on him, and by using her Ryoko voice to distract him just long enough to impale him. Also, Tsubasa's new manager Ogata gets his butt kicked, and Miku, who just barely gets away from Fine. It's at this point that Fine points out that the school being right on top of the base was not in fact a super convenient way of having everything, and that the school was actually a training facility to try and find out who was actually the best as candidates for Symphogears.
Of course.
Yeah. They get into a fight. He causes Isfine to realize, you know what? That even if you don't have the original language, we can still probably you get everything. However, and after destroying the Kadinger, which by this point it actually took off a chunk of the moon, then
I guess we won't be getting a full moon anymore.
well, now it has a Saturn or ring thing. So yeah. At which point, right during the fight, he is then revived by the power of song, as all of her classmates, now aware that Hibiki is a magical girl, which honestly is probably the largest number of people who knows a magical girl's secret identity in anime history. He is then and revived by them singing the school anthem, which is just silly enough up to work. Hibiki. He fights and wins against Fine. Fine somewhat sees the error of her ways, but is a sore loser, so she decides, you know what, if I can't stop humanity from killing each other, I'm just gonna kill humanity myself. And yanks the piece of the moon that she shot off earlier, and right down to Earth. Hibiki, now not wanting everything to go, then proceeds to fly up into space using and uses her swan song along with Tsubasa and Chris, who both survived this whole thing, to then destroy the meteor, presumably killing them. We then go 2 months later with where we started, with Miku at the funeral.
Oh, wait, what about Fine? Didn't Fine have like a tearful death or like...
Oh yeah,
Hibiki?
yeah.
I kind of forgot that.
Yeah, Fine died.
Fine did die, but Hibiki like offered some nice words to her, and then specifically referred to her as Ryoko at one point.
Yes.
And then Fine actually sort of died peacefully, like she was put at peace because of
just
nice words.
He's just like, you know what? You're immortal and will actually revive again and in a couple of generations. And you know what? Try and guide humanity to a more peaceful future instead of trying to kill us all next time. At which point, cut to 2 years later.
That's some very nice words, Hibiki. Well, Fine out.
Well, she crumbles to dust.
Oh. Fuck you, Thanos.
Hibiki, I don't feel so good. Yeah.
Okay.
So Miku, now mourning the loss of Hibiki, he then and is then finds out much like in episode 1 that the noise have attacked and come walking by a bunch of dust, and I believe another kid is in danger, and Miku must save them. So in a callback to episode 1, on Miku, who runs away from the noise, at least for what's actually seemed to be several hours. So, man, total amount of raw stamina. We later find out that she wasn't a track job, so naturally that's the thing. And it's revealed, dun dun da, everyone survived. And Hibiki comes back, saves Miku, and
Miku goes ballistic. Hibiki, 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 Hibiki.
Yep.
That's in a spin-off thing, like a...
Yeah, it's still canon.
It is?
Yeah, the short things are still canon.
Okay.
Yeah. And we end the season on a tearful little Miku embracing Hibiki he with the narration, of Gendro saying, "We have more stuff that we have to do."
Whew, what a journey. I think we've got it down pretty well. What do you guys think? What do you think, Snark Spy?
I think I did relatively well. Maybe the next one I'm probably gonna have to shave some of the nitty gritty details and only get on the main plot points.
Well, this is a firstie for you, so we'll let it pass. We can forgive you.
Yeah. Well, this is Snark Spy signing off.
And Spearman signing off too. See you in the very next video. Coming up, maybe too soon.